voice from the academia to talk on various topical issues. This week I am at Obafemi Awolowo University and we're going to be talking with Professor Elegbeleye. Don't go anywhere. I have with me someone who is an epitome of knowledge, Professor Elegbeleye. Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Over time, for a long period of time now, Nigeria has been suffering from bouts of insurgency. Today is a bomb blast, tomorrow children are abducted, following the kids are killed. How can we tackle it?
Well, maybe I will not be competent to tell you how we're going to tackle it, but I can give you some comments about the fear this has driven into us as citizens, as Nigerians. If we are talking in terms of tackling insurgency, I think it's beyond the ken of the ordinary man. We expect that if everybody has done what they ought to do, and the right way they ought to do it, this thing ought to have abated at least remarkably. But again, people are passing the buck here and there. People blame the president will blame governors will blame emirs and what have you. But again, the thing has stayed with us for too long a time. And it gives us a lot of cause for concern. In terms of tackling it, if people resort into insurgency, carrying guns, blasting individuals who are innocent of whatever cause they are fighting, I think the leadership of the country ought to be able to, get their acts together and probably find some kind of solution. Some people have suggested political, some have suggested the carrot way out. Whichever way, the thing still lingers. And incidentally, if you look at the scientific analysis of what has been happening for quite a while now, you discover that they originally we were sort of confused in terms of what their intentions might be. We think it's directly against Christians, but incidentally we discover now that it does not, it doesn't have any known boundary. Anybody can be a victim anytime. And again, it becomes quite embarrassing, even for the government of Nigeria, for this kind of thing to be happening right away in the capital city. It started at the fringes. And the handlers of the problem came out to boast that they have been able to send these people to the fringes. But unfortunately, right now, they are proving a point. The one that happened at the headquarters of SS, close to the president's presidential lodge, was an embarrassment. So really, what is going on? What is sustaining them? If you ask me how we are going to solve it, I do not have any clue. Well, if it is political, if it is religious, whatever the reason is, by now, for something that started in 2009, I think our government, who have given to itself a lot of security votes over these years, ought to have found a clue.
Months ago, these northeast states where a state of emergency was declared in those states, and the military took over, like in controlling the security of the states. Now, things have not improved. In fact, we could say that things have gotten worse. Does this mean that the military is not capable of curbing?
It's not about the military per se. I even think that's even part of the tragedy of the whole situation. If you could declare a state of emergency and yet the impact still continues to be felt more than ever before, that means something, we have to go back to the drawing board and, maybe re-strategize. Because if a state of emergency was declared some times ago, and I think it's going on to close to a year now, and yet we do not have any remarkable, significant reduction in the spate of attacks there and there, I think our fears deepens more. Do you know why the fear deepens is even the Arewa Consultative Forum came out not too long ago to now declare that the insurgency must have a root right within the military. Because the Nigerian military has attracted to themselves a lot of accolades over the years. They have fought in Ekomog, they have gone all over the place, and in fact, they have received commendation from O.A.U for being very active and professional. Why is it that all of a sudden we have a problem actually curbing insurgency on our own soil? You know, and again, maybe they have actually treated us to a level of, what do I call it, amnesia. Not too long ago, they said that a particular bus, a particular truck filled with, army uniform was intersected. And it was traced to a particular corner within the army. We just had the story. We didn't, nobody ever knew anything about the outcome. So something is going on that is known to some people within the powers that be that we do not have a clue about.
Just like you pointed out, some people have come out to say that the Boko Haram sect has infiltrated the Nigerian army. Now that they have spies in the army. Now, who should be held? Who should look into this kind of thing? Because different people have come to say, and then in most of their attacks, they have found out that they put on army uniforms. They dress like soldiers. So most times people don't get to know on time that they are not soldiers from the Nigerian army. So who are the people who are supposed to look into things like this?
There is no time you're going to ask any question similar to this that it will not demand a kind of an answer where some blames will not be put upon the government. We have the president, who is the overall controller of all armed forces in Nigeria. If this kind of a thing is going on this way, it's equally, it gives us a lot of cause for concern. Imagine if the headquarters of the SSS, Department of State Security, whatever, can be attacked. If barracks have been attacked, if the police headquarters in Abuja was once upon a time attacked, then there are problems. And unfortunately, even though I'd like to avoid saying indirectly, but again, our president has not been seen to be doing what he ought to be doing. For example, how many people have been sacked? Once upon a time, General Sassi, who was then the chief security officer, chief something, I can't remember the designation exactly, he actually pointed it out at a forum where all big wigs of PDP were present, that the problem of Nigeria can be located within PDP. And that if there's going to be any end to the insurgency, that the PDP should look, within and, try to tackle it. Not too long after, he said that he had a plane crash. He died. Somebody from the north was put in there, Colonel Sam, I can't remember the name again. He was put in there. Nothing has changed. And remember that each time there was a blast, when General Sassi was there, the North would rush into condemning the security outfit of Nigeria and demand of the president that he should change his chief security advisor. Now, it's a call northerner that is the chief security advisor. He was a former, soldier. What's going on? Actually, this question befuddles me, just as it befuddles any average Nigerian. We are all asking the question, what is going on? For example, if 200 or more than 200 children, young adults, girls who are ferreted away from under the watch of the military individual who was supposed to cover that zone. Because in the state of emergency, every zone has a name of someone who is in charge. I expect that by now some individuals ought to have been fired, at least to show that the person who is the commander-in-chief is actually commanding. Everything is mum. When the police headquarters was bombed, everything was mum. UNO headquarters was bombed, it was mum. Nobody was, fingered and punished. And the president originally, before he was tutored to the consequences of his utterances, well, did actually say that there are some of these of the Boko Haram in his executive. So, which is, to me, it's a very, it's a heavy, acceptance of lack of ability to really command. I'll put it that way.
Some people have suggested that former President Olusegun Obasanjo and other ex-military presidents of Nigeria should be called in to come and give assistance in tackling this insurgency. Do you think that that's the way out?
Well, I wouldn't totally subscribe to that for the reason that insurgency didn't just start yesterday. It was there during the time of Obasanjo, for information. If you can recall, in 2001, we had our first experience of this kind of a thing. Actually, it went down. It wasn't as pronounced as it is now during the time of Obasanjo. But again, Obasanjo was there for 8 years. He didn't put anything in place to prevent a future reoccurrence of this kind of a thing. So if you call him in now, I think what ought to be really done is people should start talking, and I still want to, whatever the implication.
Every week, we bring you a voice from the academia to talk on various topical issues. This week, I am at Obafemi Awolowo University, and I'm going to be talking with Professor Elegbeleye. Don't go anywhere. I have with me someone who is an epitome of knowledge, Professor Elegbeleye Oluwatoba. Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Over time, for a long period of time now, Nigeria has been suffering from bouts of insurgency. Today is a bomb blast, tomorrow children are abducted, following the kids are killed. How can we tackle it?
Well, maybe I will not be competent to tell you how we're going to tackle it, but I can give you some comments about the fear this has driven into us as citizens, as Nigerians. If we are talking in terms of tackling insurgency, I think it's beyond the ken of the ordinary man. We expect that if everybody has done what they ought to do, and the right way they ought to do it, this thing ought to have abated at least remarkably. But again, people are passing the buck here and there. People blame the president will blame governors will blame emirs and what have you. But again, the thing has still talked again. Okay, who is going to compensate these people that are down here and there? They have families, they are mothers, they are fathers, they are children to, they are sons and daughters to some people. So I think on the long run, if it continues unabated, Nigerians are going to maybe take their, they are going to rise up to the occasion. And I fear when that happens, gradually our mind is being benumbed to a situation whereby we are no longer sensitive to total loss of value. I read it somewhere that even the very following day when there was a bomb blast in Inyanya, in Abuja, following day people came out with their wares and was selling around that area again. So our mind is being subtly benumbed to things that used to matter to us, in the days of our father. If we saw a dead body lying in those days, it cost us a number of night sleeps. But today, it really doesn't look as if it matters any longer. Yeah, if a president can come and shed some crocodile tear at Inyanya, and the following day is seen dancing at a political rally, what exactly does he want to come back for? When you are even unable to secure what is right under your watch now. And you go all over the place to just let the world know. And the Minister of Information came out to say that, okay, it's so that the Boko Haram, wherever they are hiding, will know that governance continues. Well, to my mind, no governance is continuing in Nigeria. Because if anybody dies, he dies, and that's the end of it. So I just imagine if something similar like this, it cannot even happen in any of the advanced countries. Are we progressing or retrogressing? And if we are retrogressing, what are the causes? I can't accept the blame. I didn't share any budgetary, any security vote for myself. How was this security vote spent? They said that security vote is so enigmatic, so important that you cannot ask people to start giving accounts. And yet, governors take as much as billions of naira in the name of security votes. What are they doing with it? Okay, that's even another angle to look at it. Okay, Boko Haram, they are human beings. They eat. I mean, whatever food they eat must be bought from the market. Okay, where do they get their sponsorship? Yeah, where are the resources coming from? There was a time when one of their dumps was captured, and we saw all manners of currency notes. Where is this coming from, for God's sake? So many Nigerians are paid to do this job. Who is supervising them? Who is asking the questions? That's it. Ordinary, you know, where I am, you are even saying the other time that we are far away. We are not. We are not. Somebody left from Calabar to go and celebrate his child's wedding in Abuja. He was talking in the hospital this morning. I think a leg was cut off. So when all this news was breaking in Calabar, you would think that it is the problem of the North. But it's not. It's a Nigerian problem. So, but if there is a Nigerian problem, who is supposed to solve it? The reason why in modern state we have a form of government is so that we have somebody to look up to in terms of collective security. And when this is not coming, when it's giving us the wrong vibe, then we have to start asking questions. And in Nigeria, we have a kind of political climate where you cannot ask a non-performing leader to resign. So again, are we progressing as a people, or are we retrogressing? We should ask questions, add questions that would touch the right nerve centers, which will produce the kind of an answer that we require as a people. It has gone on for too long, and I think something should be done.
We have been talking about the insurgency that is plaguing the northeast part of Nigeria. Don't go anywhere. Join us after this break.
O.A.U TV News, expanding your view. O.A.U TV News, expanding your view.
Welcome back. We're still here at Obafemi Awolowo University, and I have been talking to Professor Elegbeleye, and we've talked about the insurgency in the north. We'll still continue with that. The federal government has authorized the military to recruit more people as soldiers to fight the northeast insurgency. Now, well, I don't know, but some people have said that this would be the one recruitment exercise that not many people might apply for. But is that really a way to curb the insurgents? Because so many of our soldiers have died in the course of this fight.
Well, if you ask me that question, I would say that the psychology behind that move, that development, is sad. Because we are not actually fighting a regular soldier. If you are recruiting people at this point in time, actually, you are given an excuse that, because people are dying. The moment you decide to be in the army, you are signing away a number of things. So death shouldn't be a kind of distraction to anybody who is joining the army. But again, the government must tell us what is going on. Are we really fighting a regular battle? Are the insurgents succeeding as a result of the fact that we do not have enough army personnel to deal with them? Are we really in a state of war? There are so many things. The haphazard way our government do things is quite embarrassing. All of a sudden, in the midst of everything, you now discover that you want to hire, you want to recruit more soldiers. What is the toll of soldiers who have died? We don't know. Are we losing so many soldiers to demand that we start recruiting more? Or are we envisaging an all-out war in the nearest future? These are the questions that come to my mind. All of a sudden, you make an announcement, you want to recruit more soldiers. Is it to just, throw them in Sambisa forest to be killed? A governor came out and said that from his own personal observation, and as a governor, that he knows that the kind of a weapon these people carry, more sophisticated, even than the ones that our own soldiers carry. Only for you to come out, you roundly abuse them, you call them names, whatever, and only for you now to admit that there is a problem, a crack within even our army formation. What's going on? Are we under soldiers in the country to warrant the need for a haphazard recruitment or a hurried recruitment? A recruitment that in all of its essence, it's a confirmation of the fact that Nigeria is in trouble. If our government is jittery, then everybody should panic. So because it's a panicky move to me, if you now want to recruit more soldiers, are you going to equally recruit more police? So there are so many things that are cloudy. Until we ordinary citizens are able to put our fingers on what's really going on, we may not know what is really happening. Have we lost too many soldiers to demand that we start a fresh recruitment? If you recruit them, who are they going to be fighting? Because these people are not a regular army. So that's the problem. Okay, look at the government. Since 2009, we say that we have porous borders. Nobody has lifted a finger in order to do anything in that direction. What stops us from actually erecting, structures, barriers, to demarcate our borders? Is it too much to do? Nigeria has about, 900, 1,000, or I don't know, you forgive me for not getting that correctly, square meters. If porous borders is posing this serious problem, can't we actually erect barriers and limit the number of, entrance, that people can take? If we have enough number of entrances people can take, well, you put soldiers there to man it. But all of a sudden you want to recruit more soldiers. Nobody told us why they want to do it anyway. So be that as it.
According to them, is to fight the northeast insurgency. Okay,
please tell me where their camps are. You are fighting people you can see. You can't, Jerry Rawlings, the former president of Ghana, actually gave a very pertinent suggestion very recently that you don't win this kind of a war by resorting to arms. It is largely a psychological war. Yes, these people will not go and strike where your armed personnel are present. They prefer to walk into a market and unleash the mayhem and leave. So if you are recruiting more, is it, the question to ask is, are we under-soldiered? You know, why are you recruiting new ones? Have we lost too many soldiers as a result of insurgency to demand or warrant that we recruit fresh ones? So if these answers are, these questions are answered, then we'll probably know what where we are. For example, if the insurgency is going beyond what we can handle, we can call for West African support.
And this is where we'll wrap up this edition of From the Ivory Tower. I've had a beautiful discussion with Professor O.A.U. by Elegbeleye. He's a professor in the Department of Psychology, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Join us next week for another edition. I am Oluwatomi Ojo. See you next week.